President Biden now facing increased calls to drop out of the race from Democrats who believe he will lose to former President Donald Trump. The party on the verge of upending their entire primary process and creating a new national ticket. Newsmax's own political analyst Mark Halperin broke the news this week that could be the end of the Biden presidency being near. He joins me now with the latest on this story, along with Julian Epstein. He's a Democratic consultant, former chief counsel to the House Judiciary Committee and staff director to the House Oversight Committee. Great to have you both here. Mark, we'll start with you. You were the first to report that the walls could be closing in on President Biden. What are you hearing now from sources close to him?
Well, what's going on is there are a lot of details to work out. And President Biden never gave final sign off on questions like how the process would work when he moved to give up, relinquish the nomination. He's not a great decision maker. He doesn't really want to give up the nomination in his heart. And so now his primary focus is not on negotiating those details and figuring them out. His primary focus is his anger at Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama for, in his view, leading the effort to get him out. So Joe Biden is a guy who's very proud, and he's a guy who recognizes that he wants to be able to have an end of a career that's on his terms and not on the terms of others. And right now, that's his primary focus, is his anger that other people are trying to set the terms for this endgame.
And Julian, the Biden campaign is pushing back on reports from Mark and others claiming that Biden will resume campaigning after recovering from COVID as early as next week. We've also heard that the family is now involved in some of these exit conversations. So do you believe that's an indication that it's only a matter of time until President Biden says, I'm not running for re-election?
I do, but we don't know. I think Mark's reporting is basically accurate. I think the walls are closing in on Biden. I think there's a little bit of a King Lear syndrome going on where he sort of is the last person to get it. But their strategy right now is to erect other camps within the Democratic Party, like the CBC and the Progressives, who I think believe that they can manipulate Biden in a second term, and to create two camps of Democrats and run the clock. So while I think Mark's reporting is accurate, I also think we don't know yet. I think it's too early to say it's just a matter of time. I think it's trending in that direction. But again, the plan here is for Biden to get other Democrats to come out and say he should stay. There's no good alternative. Kamala's not a better alternative than I am. And if we have an open primary, it'll be chaos. And the clock is running. Delegates have to vote by early August 1st. So we don't know is the answer right now.
And Mark, it appears to the outside observer that the Bidens and the upper echelon of the Democratic Party are playing let's make a deal at this point. But what are the elements of that deal, and what do you think Biden wants in order to step aside?
Well, the first thing is the paradox. There are a lot of people who, when I reported that the president did not plan to endorse Kamala Harris, who were outraged and who began contacting Biden world to say he must endorse our female black incumbent vice president to succeed him. The irony there is a lot of people who are in Kamala Harris don't want an endorsement from Joe Biden. They want to be free of the Biden record as much as they can and the negatives of the Biden administration. And they want to be seen, have the vice president, if it comes to this, standing on her own 2 feet. So you have supporters of the vice president saying, you better endorse. And you have people in the vice president's camp saying, please don't endorse. That is a big part of the paralysis. Although, it's a little bit contrived. Joe Biden, his heart is not in giving up the nomination. And so he's seizing on certain parts of things that are undecided, primarily this question of whether he'd endorse the vice president, and then also the question of, would it be an open process or not? Or would there be an effort to basically have what some call a Kamala coronation? He's focused on those issues. But as I said, he's pushed off engaging on those issues to just be angry at those who are leading this unprecedented effort to get him to relinquish the nomination.